Hey, welcome back to Income Trading 101. Today is June the 3rd. Wanted to take a look at Yeti Holdings as we approach the start of summer. People love their coolers and their tumblers and all those products that get used a lot in summer. So I just really wanted to take a look at this company. Looks like recently they had earnings. And that's one of the things I love about TradingView is I can take a quick snapshot and see, what the expectation was, and what was reported. I also, more importantly, like to see if I want to make sure that I'm not walking into a news event that's going to otherwise skew the price and trading data that day. So all is well, given that earnings already happened. So let's just take a look at, actually, before we do that, let's get a sense of where this stock is relative. Okay, so looks like we have data back through, Q4 of 2018. I wondered if they had gone public sooner. We're going to pull this back to basically the 1 year. I'll catch this full up move because this will set up well for a little possible retracement action, just so we have an idea of some levels that might be of importance. But let's go ahead and start off with the moving averages like we always do. Get 3 of those in there. You guys already know it's going to be the 10, the 20, and the 60. Looking for periods where the 10 is higher than the 20 to be my buy signals or bullish trends. If the 20 is on top, I tend to consider it a bearish signal or a sell signal. And then the 20 gives us an idea of where we are with a little bit more history. So right now, looks like the 10 and 20 are very close to each other. In fact, I'm looking at the numerical values, and the 20, let's see, the 20 is actually higher, slightly lower. It's close, 20 cents off. I'm looking at the numbers in the upper left-hand corner over here. The 20 is actually a little bit, as of right now, a little bit less, 20 cents less than the 10-day. So right now, everything is still in a bullish pattern, with the 10 period being higher than the 20 and higher than the 60. They're all in line. Let's go to a lower time frame and see if this holds true. I'm going to stretch this out so we can see it a little better rather. And in this scenario, you can see that the 60 is actually, the 10 is actually between the 20 and the 60. So the 20 is still higher than the 60-day by about 24 cents, but the 10 is below both of them. So the 60 is actually in between the two, which means that we're entering a convergence phase. It could be a sideways channel. It could be switching from a bullish to a bearish move. Whatever it is, we're not sure, and that's what makes this period somewhat inconclusive. Let's look at the 30-minute. So at the 30-minute level, you have all 3 moving averages in line, even though they're close to one another. Here, I can stretch this out. They're very close to one another, but you can see the numerical values that the 10 is less than the 20, and that's less than the 60. So the 30-minute level, we're definitely seeing bearish setup, as well as in the 15-minute, it's bearish. You have the 60 coming in at $87.48. The 20 at $86.91, and the 10 at $86.70. So very interesting. We had sort of inconclusive results at the daily and at the 1 hour, but when it came to the 30 and the 20, it was very clearly moving bearishly. So I'm going to take this all the way back out. Pull this back a little bit, just give us a little better view. We're going to get rid of these moving averages, and I like, for my stochastic indicator, I like using the MACD. course, you can use an RSI or stochastics, anything that will give you a good image of what momentum's doing. You can see right now there was a bearish crossover that happened on April 30th. This is at the daily level, but we haven't really crossed the zero line, and you can see price really hasn't come off significantly. In fact, price appears to be a little bit more flat than anything else aside from this little period of volatility. But I like to see crossovers and a crossing of the zero line before I believe it. So I'd say at the daily it's kind of inconclusive, not a clear trading signal. Now at this hourly, this actually gets a little more interesting because you have a crossover that happened over on May 25th. We've been oscillating above, but right now it appears to be crossing the zero line. Now it's hard for me to trust this given that price has gone flat. You can see how the indicator has also sort of flattened out, but definitely worth taking a look at, but it's hard to use that as a trading signal. Now, this has been rather jumpy. So on the 26th of May, the 30-minute had a bullish crossover and then quickly moved ahead and crossed the zero line. But you can see how this indicator reacts to flat markets. You're not getting big expansions like this crossover, this bearish crossover on May 24th. Certainly a clear bearish signal. On May the 19th, we had a clear bullish one. On May the 13th, we had a bullish one. So, but I think as these ranges tighten and we see, less and less, more tight bounds to the range, you just end up getting these sort of sideways floating MACD signals. And then here we had a bearish crossover on June the 1st at the 15-minute level, and it did go ahead and cross the zero line. So that would have been a legitimate sell signal once this crossed the zero line. But again, it does appear that things could end up being channeling sideways. So I'm less comfortable using this as a true trading signal right now. So in light of that, we can do a couple of things. First off, just going to do a quick Fibonacci of this full move just to get a sense of where things could go, right? Not that we are there yet, but it's just an idea of like, oh, okay, well, we could get there. So you've got, the 23.6% level would be a $73.17. 38.2 would be $62. And I don't right off the bat see any levels that are truly significant. I mean, the 61.8 played a little bit of resistance and then support over here in September. The 50 played a possible resistance, in August of 20 and in September of 20 and October of 20 twice, and before it ultimately looked more like support towards the beginning of November. So at the end of the day, this is still very much a bullish move, even though it's flattened out. I'm going to help you guys see that with a couple of parallel channels. So, we may have flattened a bit. Pull this in. But that doesn't negate the fact that this market certainly appears to be more bullish than not. So let's do that. There we go. We'll do one more just so you can see how it almost all connects, right? Very interesting period. You might say, well, how do you trade this? Well, when you've got flat markets like this, you can certainly look at things like iron condors, maybe selling the 9092 call spread versus selling the, you know, 85, 87 or something like that. I haven't looked at the prices at all, but just saying that selling an iron condor is a possibility. Some people like selling straddles. The problem with straddles is that it truly is a volatility trade that you need to be prepared for. And so I don't advise it from a retail account, but I like selling iron condors because they'll kind of appreciate from both the falling volatility and just range bound pricing, which I guess is ultimately low volatility. I also might consider, what are the things that could make this pop and go higher versus going lower, and does it appear to be that we're more likely to go lower? I would imagine this also has a fairly high beta to the Dow, or the Dow and the S, but I have not checked that either. So, there are a lot of things to look at. I personally avoid sideways markets because I constantly am imagining breakouts and to the upside or downside, and just cost me money. So I prefer trending markets, but that being said, there's plenty of money out there to be made in a name like this. So definitely look at your options, look at what's available, and go out there and make some money. All right. Hey, thanks so much for watching the videos. Hope you guys have a great week. Happy trading.